So I guess it's time that I finally make this video. I have accumulated quite a few Discraft discs, and I think it's time to expose myself, and this is going to be my entire Discraft collection that I have collected over the past 6 years. So let's get into it, and just a little disclaimer for you all. A lot of these discs are gifted to me by Discraft, as well as I used to work for Paige Pierce. And so some of these discs I got on the road working with her, as well as just kind of some stuff she kind of kept back for me. So thanks to both of those people. And yeah, let's get into it. I'm gonna start with some slower speed discs up here, and then I'll kind of jump around, but I'll leave some timestamps up here so that you can kind of decide where you want to kind of jump around in the video, because I think it's gonna be a long one. Starting off, I have I think this is a 2022 Tour Series Fierce. If I'm wrong, please post it in the comments below. But this is the Ghost stamp here. Love the Fierce. Great beginner disc, as well as just like a really good understable throwing putter. So yeah, I have this one in the ESP swirl with the Ghost stamp. And then I also have the Crystal Flex Zone there. Very pretty disc with that black stamp. This one's slightly more stable. Very fun disc to throw, and just slightly more stable than that 2021 or 2022 version. And then we have the Approachable Fierce, which this one is super special to me because Jomez Pro actually ended up doing a podcast with Paige and myself. And yeah, I can link that below if you want to like kind of do a little deep dive into that. Very special and momentous disc for me, as well as Grip Equipment being the sponsor, so that's pretty cool too. So yeah, really cool disc. Moving on, we have the Paul Macbeth Battle Pack Luna. So we have a normal, regular ESP Swirl Luna, as well as a Ultra Star Luna. So both of those are in a video that I'll have linked up here if you want to kind of see how they fly and stuff like that. These were gifted to me by Discraft, and very, very fun discs to throw. I have always been a big fan of the Luna, and I had never really thrown it for myself really that much. But I just enjoy watching Paul throw it, and honestly, it's just like one of those kind of putters that's like stable to straight. I usually throw a P Model S, so for me, I find it's like a little bit similar. Maybe this has a little bit more stability, but after been throwing this kind of in this 2025 season, I have been loving it. So next up, we have the Kratos. This one is a first run Kratos, just in that Jawbreaker plastic. It's just basically a Luna with a bead on it, but it's still pretty cool. I have also the Paul Macbeth Test Flight Kratos. So these two are in that Jawbreaker swirl, which is really nice. And then we have the Kratos. These are the Test Flight Kratos. And I actually have a video of myself throwing these up here, so you can check that out if you want to see how they fly. But really, really like the Kratos as well. It's basically a Luna with a bead. But if you like a bead, then it's great for that. We have the Paige Pierce Soul. This disc is honestly so good for beginners. I find that its flight numbers are a little, like I find it's a little more unpredictable than some understable molds, but it is a 4.5 -3.0. But if you can get a hold of it and kind of figure out how it flies, it is a very fun disc to throw and really perfect for beginners. So really nice mid. If you're looking for like an understable mid, really good. Next up, we have the Ricky Wysocki Proto Putter. I don't even know if they actually ended up naming this. Please let me know in the comments below if they did. I also don't know if he even bags it or uses it. So yeah, I have one, and it has that like kind of scale-like stamp on there. It's pretty cool. And I haven't really actually used it that much, but it flies like any old putter. To me, it's just kind of like a straight to stable putter. And then next up, I have a first run Swarm. So the Swarm is a 5.304. I find that when I thought about the Swarm, I thought the Swarm was going to be like kind of like a big girl zone, like just like slightly faster zone. It is so much more stable than I thought. And I would say it's more on the lines of like a big girl zone OS. So It's a super fun disc, really good utility disc if you need something that's just gonna hook left or right, depending on if you're throwing backhand or sidearm. It's a fun disc to throw, but super duper stable. I'd be curious to know if it's just because it's first run that it's so stable, or if all the other molds are stable as well. Let me know how stable the other ones are, I guess, if you find there's a difference and you've thrown both. Okay, there's a lot. There's a lot to unpack here. There's going to be a lot of the same mold, probably a couple different variations. These are like backups and like whatever else might have you, but I throw the passion quite a bit. So I have a lot of passions. Let's get right into it and I'll talk about each disc as we go here. Also, FYI, this rack is actually from IKEA and it is called the Veskin rack. It's what I use to carry almost all of my discs, and they're easy to store away. They're easy to break down, and they're very, very, very awesome. I think they have a similar one on Amazon. Easy to set up, easy to hold your discs. Like they fit in perfectly. I think they're like 20 bucks, 15 bucks. So yeah, check that link out also in the description below if you're interested in that. Okay, starting off, we have the Moon Moth stamp. This stamp was from, I believe, OTB, but in 2023, Paige did kind of like a series of 5 passions that she released at 5 different tour stops of some of her favorite events. So this one is the Moon Moth stamp. I was actually at OTB. Paige won this year, which was insane. I got to caddy for her that year, so really, really cool that I got some kind of fun discs to throw in my bag. And yeah, I used this one for a couple seasons actually. And this one is, I believe it's like 165 gram, but it is one of those really nice passions that kind of goes straight and then flips and then comes right back to the left. Flies very similar to the first run passions, which is kind of how I prefer my passions to fly, but yeah, kind of, they go wherever, like whatever angle you put them on, they'll kind of fly like that. Next up, we have an approachable passion. I have yet to throw this one just because I'm kind of like keeping it as a keepsake, because I think it's really cool that this even happened and I feel so honored and grateful. So this is kind of like a little keepsake of this moment in my life. I tried to fit all the passions on the same rack. I don't know if that was a good idea. There, just a little rearranging and then we're good. This one is actually my Tour Series stamp. So this was in collaboration kind of with Discraft for myself. And the passion is one of my favorite molds. And there's a couple other molds that I'll talk about later that are also in that favorite mold category. So yeah, this is a passion ESP swirl, and yeah, Kevin Heiche designed the stamp. You can actually grab this disc if you want to at another round. They have this exact disc in stock right now, so if you wanted to grab some, that would support me a lot. So thank you guys so much. If you already have one, please tag me in your videos of you throwing that, because pretty special that there's so many out in the world now. Okay, next up, I have another Moon Moth stamp. This one's super pretty, 173, 174 gram. Yeah, I really, really like this one. I think it's super, super pretty. And I just wanted one that was a little bit heavier to fight wind and whatnot. I think we can all agree that the Paige Pierce Z-Flex Jawbreaker Z-Flex passions were some of the best runs in all of Discraft's lineup. When they came out with this plastic, it was insane. It just looks so pretty and I love it so much. Like, I've never seen plastic that looks like that before. They did it, and yeah, these fly so good. They're just like slightly more stable than the other ones that I was just showing you there. It is such a good disc. And this one was actually gifted to me by Jordan Alway. So thank you, Jordan. What can I say? I love this run of passion. It's so good. This one is a UV light passion. So when it is in the sun, it like kind of glows and it'll go blue or pink, I think, if you put it out in the sun. So yeah, I don't remember if this one's pink or blue, but one of them, I used to have another one, but I think I gave it to my brother, but one of them was pink, one of them was blue. So yeah, if I put this in the sun, you'll see it will go to that color. So pretty cool. Next up is a prototype passion. I ended up actually getting this from Paige when I first met her at the 2021 Tour Series Championships. So that was pretty cool. The Pro Tour Series Championship. First time I ever met Paige. I had just started working for her at the time, or like we were in talks that we were gonna be working together, and then, yeah, she gave me this little guy. And super stoked to have a prototype passion. This one's also pretty flippy, which I love, but I've kind of stopped throwing it because I'm like, should I be throwing a prototype? I don't know. So that's kind of why I don't throw it anymore. Again, another proto. This one also another prototype driver. Got it that same weekend. And I actually have a video with Jomas Pro, a couple of them. If you wanted to see them, I can link them up above. That's one of the other reasons that we went there. So Discraft sent us over these first run passions. We did a couple videos for Paige's Instagram and yeah, her social media. So we have a couple of these ones. Ooh, and this one was signed, which is pretty cool. Yeah, and then this one I actually ended up taking with me. Where did we take this? I think we were driving from Emporia, Kansas, all the way to Vermont. We took one of these ones with us. They fly so nice. And yeah, I would say they're on the more flippy side than straight to stable side. Another signed moon moth stamp, because couldn't not get Paige to sign one of my moon moth stamp discs because she won that weekend. It was pretty special. So yeah, had to sign it and get it all good to go. Another first run. Oh, this one, I know where this one came from. This first run passion came from Throw Joe's. He dyed it, and I actually met him, I think it was at, actually no, this one he sent to me. I bought a couple other ones from him at a tournament in D-Glow, but this one, he actually sent it to me. First run passion. I think that the dye that he did is so insane. It looks so pretty. Another first run passion, which are one of my favorite runs. So this is another passion. It's really cool because the stamp goes both ways. If you see like that, it says passion every time you see it. Or turn it around. This is a glow passion, and some of the glow discs, actually, some of the glow passions are some of my favorite passions out there. This one's a little more on the stable side, but this guy here this actually probably won quite a few of my tournaments this season in 2025. This disc here alone, I throw this thing like no tomorrow. Like I have gotten very, very comfortable with this disc. It's a very, very nice mold. This one is dead straight. This one like I said, is like on the more stable side. But my brother actually gifted this one to me. He told me that if I could get a birdie at a hole on his home course, that I could have it. So I did that. So yeah. I don't even actually remember if I actually got a birdie or if he was just being kind to me, but yeah. I threw it really well, and I was like, okay, I need this disc. Andy, please give it to me. And thank you very much, Andy. It's been a MVP in the bag for sure. I have 2 of the tree stamps. I believe these ones were D-Glow, but if I'm wrong, please correct me. But these are, again, in Paige's series. She had like 5 different kind of releases throughout the year. I think these ones were D-Glow. I know I'm gonna have some Discraft peeps that actually know what they're talking about. It was a long time ago, so I'm wondering, is this correct that these ones were released at D-Glow? I think it is, but yeah. So these 2 from D-Glow. This one here, these ones are from Vermont, I believe, with the mushroom stamp, which is super cool as well. Kevin Heiche designed all of these stamps for basically all of these custom kind of looking stamped passions. And I will link his Instagram and stuff below too, just so you can see. He's a very talented artist and good friend, so yeah. One more moon moth stamp. I really like the colors and the swirl on the back of this one. I think it's super pretty. 173, 74 gram. Keep those all together. And then last but not least, this is the custom stamped passion that I have inside my bag and throw very, very frequently. I have this one and this one in the bag right now. So this one, I would say it kind of holds up in a headwind a little bit, like it has some integrity and fight to it. And then this one is my straight to understable kind of passion. So the glow and the ESP swirl. This is my cat Lottie. She'll be hanging out with us for probably the majority of the end of Oh, okay, never mind, bye. But we just got that kitten and she's very cute, and the other cat is in the room there, so she wants to play with him. But it's too noisy. Already tried making this video like 3 times because they have interrupted me every time, so yeah. Okay, the next 2 molds are inside of this Grip Equipment Ultimate Sports Duffel bag. There's a lot of discs in here. There are only 2 molds that are in here, but you'll see that I have a problem with these 2 molds specifically very soon, as well as the Passion. But yeah, first up is the Discraft Zone. The Zone. I have so many zones. It's very embarrassing, but also I feel like they need me and I need them. So it's like my emotional support disc. So the Zone is definitely that disc for me. And this one is just just a normal stock ESP swirl. And I got an ace on July 27th, 2024, hole 15 at Forest Lawn with this baby. Just a big hyzer out onto the right-hand side, and it just smashed the chains and grabbed. This one was in the bag for 2024, 2025. It was kind of like more beaten now. I have a slow mez zone. Love the color of this one and the stamp, and just everything to do with it is so pretty. I have this one I actually have a funny story about. Cam and I went to PDGA Worlds in 2022, I believe, yeah. We had brought some discs with us. We were kind of like looking in dynamic discs, like seeing maybe is there something else we should pick up, I don't know. And then Adam Hammis walked in and I was like, oh, I can't even like believe it, but I forgot a zone. So I was a little bit, I don't know, I guess I was just asking him. I kind of knew him at the time, and I was like, hey Adam, any chance you got any zones on you? Like, I forgot one. And then he went into his van, he grabbed this one out for me. He also signed it. And then he said I could have it. So thank you, shout out Adam Hammis, that was very nice. Here is a custom stamped zone. This is the same stamp as this guy here, but just in a zone. Unfortunately, I don't have any more of these left, so this is all I got. Whatever I have in here, these are my backups, and that's all I got. These ones turned out rather stable in a good way, so I really, really like these zones. They're great. This one came from my bag and has won me quite a few tournaments in this 2025 season. A little bit more of a puddle top on this zone, which I quite like for my zones. I like them to have that little concave puddle top. Yeah, I find with this one you can like give it that Annie and it'll come right back, or like give it that high Annie and it'll just ride and fly down straight. One of my favorite shots in disc golf. It's my favorite approach disc, favorite disc probably ever, and love it. This is actually the disc that I got my very, very first ace with. We got this at the 2021 Pro Tour Championships in Charlotte, and the same time that I met Paige when I first started working for her. I got my first ace with this disc on August 6th, 2022 at Baker Park, hole 4 on the red layout, I believe. And it was on National Disc Golf Day, which is so cool. Like, that's crazy. Like, you can't make up a first ace story like better than that. So that was pretty cool. I freaked out, lost my mind, but not as much as I did for my second ace, which was with this exact disc again. It was in tournament at TCO 2023. This is my second ace ever. And I got an ace on the island hole at Mac Island. So if you know Kamloops, Mac Island at all, you know that hole is either like birdie or bogey, basically. It's very hard to par that hole. So I got an ace on that one on the final round. That was a very, very, very special day. I actually ended up winning quite a bit of money with that one because of the ace pot. So always buy into the ace pot. Okay, next up, another custom stamped zone there. This was from 2024. The sad thing about my custom stamp discs is that I wanted these ready for Falcon's Flight, and I actually got them all ready. I was so excited I was gonna be selling them that weekend, and it was gonna be so fun, and like hoping to like, I don't know, just enjoy time with my friends and like the kind of Alberta disc golf community. And then I hurt my ankle on the first round of Falcon's Flight, so I could only sell like a couple of them. But shout out Taylor Jeffels, you went all the like way down the hill to where my car was parked, and he opened up my car, brought all my discs up to me because I was on crutches. I couldn't move really. And then, so he brought all my discs to me, and yeah, it was very, very kind of him. He did not need to do that, and I was able to still sell some discs. So that was pretty cool. So thanks, Taylor, for doing that. Here is another one. This one is so pretty. I love that it has like a little light spot right where the sun is. Such a beautiful disc, and I love it. So those are all my backups of my custom stamp zone. This one, Paige actually gave us this one when we went to the Pro Tour Championships. I was kind of looking at her zone and I was like, what you got there? What is that little guy? That was one of the ones she gifted us. Really like it, and the colors are so pretty. I have a 6x Macbeth zone. Like I said, this collection is embarrassing, but it's time you all knew I had a problem. I have a Jawbreaker zone. This one's a little bit more understable. It flies a little bit straighter. It's the 2021 Ledgestone edition. Feels really nice in the hand. And this is my very first Zone SS. I picked this up from Disc Republic. Excited about this one. It is so pretty, and I'm hoping that it flies a little bit more like a beat in like straight zone. Very excited to throw this. It is currently winter here, and I've not been throwing very much, so not gonna lose this baby in the snow. So next up, my BUZZZ collection. Okay, we have a 6x Macbeth BUZZZ. There we go. Just in that ESP plastic there. We have a Z BUZZZ. This one's a little more stable. That Z plastic kind of brings out that stability there. I have, a Chris Dickerson Tour Series BUZZZ. That one is really pretty. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but it's like almost like got this milky looking texture on it. Really, really pretty disc, and it flies a little bit more stable, I would say, than my ESP BUZZs. The next two are the Halloween edition, the limited edition Halloween BUZZZ, and they do have some glow in them as well, which is super fun. So these two come out during Glow Golf. They're pretty cool. I really like the stamp on that one. This one's just like iconic. Next up, I have the Paige Pierce and Chris Dickerson Champions Cup BUZZZ. And then these two I got actually at DGlow, I believe in 2022 or 2023, I think. These are the Ledgestone ESP Tour Series Swirl, but they're like the ESP Flex. So they're like quite flexible. And these ones I really like for the winter time because the discs get super hard and super stiff. But I really like having these flexy BUZZs for the winter. They're really fun to throw. And I find that they're more straight actually as well. So I have a custom stamped BUZZZ. I actually got an ace with this one on October 12th, 2024. Big Marlboro Hole 3. It was actually on film, so I'll link that one up here because I did a round with just only my Tour Series discs. So or not Tour Series, but custom stamped. So I'll link that one up there for you. And here is the other BUZZZ that I have. I really love the back of this one. I think it's super cool. But yeah. And it has like, it's just like board flat, which is kind of how I like my BUZZs to be. And my last Tour Series, or not Tour Series, why do I keep saying that? Custom stamped BUZZZ is this one here. So super pretty pink and nice and flat. Okay, 3 BUZZs left. We can do this. This one is a Z, what did they call this? The BUZZsaw, yeah. In the Z plastic there. And yeah, you can see that really cool fused edge there. So that's really cool. This one was gifted to me by Discraft, and it was in the bag for quite some time. I have a Chris Dickerson Z Flex, Jawbreaker Z Flex zone, BUZZZ. And yeah, gotta love it. This is one of my favorite plastics that Discraft has done. I also just love their typical ESP swirl or ESP. I just find it so easy to replace when you have that. It's not like a specific like kind of unique mold or unique plastic like this one, but this one is the one that's in my bag currently. My approachable BUZZZ with grip equipment and Jomas Pro. You can tell that this one's been loved and used. so many times. She's been thrown a lot, but yeah, such a good buzz. And I would say that it flies more on the straight to understable side. So it has been through a lot. So we will put these ones back and then we'll get into the rest of the video. Okay, I'll zip up this duffel bag. If you wanted to check out this bag, I actually have a full review on it. I'll link it here. And you can use my code. It's in the description if you wanted to check that out as well. It gets you 10% off. So if you wanted to check that out, please do. And it supports me so much. Thank you very much. Okay, next up, we have, this was gifted to me actually in a Jomez Pro unboxing. So if you want to see that, it's here. But this is the Big Sexy with Berry. Now with Berry. It is a cicada? Yeah, a cicada, 161 gram. This thing can bomb. It is a very fun disc to throw, really good for beginners, and just like, yeah, if you're just getting into disc golf, this disc is super fun to throw. I would say it's more on the like understable to straight side, and you can actually get some good flip out of this one. Moving on, I have a Sagara. Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. But yeah. I have the Cigara, and it is pretty cool. I do like this one in the Z plastic because it does kind of give that stability to it. This first run, I think that the other runs are a little bit more stable if I'm not mistaken. But this one is, yeah, it's nice. It's not a bad disc. Just didn't make the bag. I find that it's pretty similar to my Understable Passion, so I didn't want to mess with that. This one is a Climo Discs prototype. It is the Victory Line Osprey. This disc is actually super great for beginners, I find. You still get a lot of that flip out of it, and it is still pretty understable, but it has some integrity and some finish at the end, so good disc. A low-key, like underrated mold by Discraft is actually the Stalker. I threw this a ton before I threw the Passion. This one was back when Paige's name was on it, but it is such a good mold. I really, really like the Stalker. I almost like the rim more than the Passion, like this rim more, but I like the way the Passion flies a lot, so. Because the Stalker is a 7.5 -1.2. The Passion is 8.5 -1.1. So like very similar mold, but just slight differences. Next up, I have a titanium sting. This one actually came from my brothers. Actually, so did that Stalker, wherever that is. But they told me that I would probably like these molds. I actually haven't thrown the sting that much. It's a 7.5 -2.1. Very similar numbers again to the Stalker. Very similar disc, and this is in the titanium plastic, which I actually really, really like from Discraft. They do a really good job with that. We have some test flight discs, which are fun. We got some test flight Athenas. These ones are so pretty. I find this one's very much like I don't know, like either sunset or like a tangerine kind of vibe. It's got that coral with the yellow rim. This one's so pretty as well. And then we have the watermelon Athena. Just super pretty. These are very stable, actually. I found them to be similar to an Undertaker. I would say just like a slight tick more stability than an Undertaker, but they are so fun to throw. I really like the flat ones. So like there's that one there. This Athena is pretty flat. Yeah, really, really fun to throw though. A plethora of Undertakers. Here we go. This one is the one that's currently in my bag. I wiped the stamp just because I just felt like I wanted to have a blank stamp. The Undertaker is one of my favorite molds with Discraft. It's along the lines of like the Passion and the Buzz and the Zone. The Undertaker would be my next favorite. So this one has become quite beaten in, and it's a little bit more on the understable side, but if I throw hyzer on it, it will go and hyzer left. I find this disc for me is kind of like my point and shoot. Like it's like my upgraded Buzz in a way, but it's like point and shoot. I can just do whatever I want with it. Really good forehand, really good backhand. Love this disc. My next disc is my custom stamped Undertaker. I actually have 2 of those in the bag. These ones actually kind of were unique, or at least I think this one. This one is just typical ESP swirl, but this one ended up being a little bit more unique because Discraft actually had some glow plastic before they started injecting these discs of my custom stamped run. And so some of the plastic actually has glow in them. So half of the Undertakers that I got and purchased actually has glow in them. So some of you have glow in your Undertaker. Let me know if you're one of those people. But yeah, it's super cool that there's like a slight bit of glow plastic in there. But I find these ones to be a little bit more stable than, well, quite a bit more stable than, oh, whoa, where did it go? Than this one here that I have in my bag. Not really generally any flip. They just kind of like they go straight and then hyzer. I find this one is similar actually to my one that I have in my bag. It's a little bit more on that, like it does flip for me, and I can get this one to flip, but I would say this one's my closest backup to the one that I have currently in my bag. Next up, we have a Z Undertaker. This one is a Tour Series one for Missy Gannon. We bought this in 2021 when we saw her and met her for the first time, her and Tom, and her puppies, Rio and Pippi. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Really, really like the Undertaker. This one's a little more stiff in the hand, which is not my preference for Undertakers. I have a Paige Pierce Undertaker in, I believe, Z plastic as well, yeah. So that's the one that she had her name on for a while there. We got some, oh, here's a Captain's Raptor. This one Discraft sent to me. Very stable, very, very stable. And this one I find to be very beautiful. They matched the stamp and the swirl beautifully. These ones are fun. I actually haven't messed around too much with the Thrasher. This is the Captain's Thrasher, which is actually very stable. I have thrown this one and I was surprised with how stable this run is. It's 170 gram to 172. It just feels so good in the hand, the Thrasher. I get why Missy throws it so much. This is the first run, and it is beautiful. Very stable. Here is another one. This one's one of her Tour Series Z Swirl Thrashers. That one's very pretty. Yeah, this was from 2025, so just a recent addition. And then this one is the 2024 Tour Series Thrasher. And like I said, the Jawbreaker Z Flex, this plastic is so good. Okay, so I have the Approachable Heat, another underrated disc with Discraft. It is one of the best, I would say, understable drivers. It is, or I guess it's a fairway, isn't it? It's a 9, yeah, it's a fairway driver. But I always think that it's a higher speed than it is just because they can bomb so far. They're incredibly fun to throw. This is the Z Light Heat. Oh, this thing can go so far, but she is super understable, so you gotta put some hyzer on her. She is 155 grams. This one's really, really fun to throw in like a tailwind. I got this in my Trash Panda disc swap in 2023, I think. But it is a grip equipment heat. So that's pretty cool that someone thought to send me like a grip equipment one because I'm sponsored by them. So that's kind of cool and flies super nice. This one is a Mantis, I believe. Oh no, this is a heat as well. It's got the Huck Lab stamp on it. I didn't actually know that was a heat. Well, now I'm gonna be throwing that more. That's awesome. And this one is the Mantis. I think that's titanium plastic, but I don't actually know for sure, but this is the older titanium. Or maybe it's not even titanium. But yeah, Mantis. Haven't thrown it that much, but to me, it's basically an Undertaker-ish, is what I kind of felt with it. This one is a Discraft Big Z Crush. It's the Ledgestone edition. I actually really like the Crush for like a sidearm disc. I find it's quite nice and has good stability. Kind of levels up to like where my Destroyers are at for sidearm. Yeah, very fun disc to throw. I can't flip it personally, but I watched Paige flip this disc a lot, and it was very, very, very fun to watch her throw this disc. So they can bomb. They're very fun. I have some drives up in here, so let's look at those. This is a prototype drive that Discraft sent me. It's 167 to 169 gram. I find that the proto is a little more understable, and here is the first run is this one here, and it's 173 to 174 gram. I think this one is a test flight. So yeah, I have a first run and 2 test flights. Oh no, wow, I have all 3. I didn't know that. Okay, so I have a test flight, I have a first run, and I have a prototype. Look at that, that's pretty cool. I don't think I'll be getting rid of any of those. That's pretty cool. Next up, I have a couple of these Paige Pierce Swirl Z Surge SS. This Swirl Z plastic is very nice and I find that the Z plastic makes it a little bit more stable. But yeah, these fly pretty nice. They're similar to actually my Undertaker, the flippier one. Like I can get some flip with these and then it comes back to the left for me, which is one of my favorite flights in disc golf, I would say. Just like that true full flight. Next, we have an Onyx. I really like the Onyx. I find that it is very nice forehand and backhand. It's like one of those perfect stable drivers. And I do like that the rim is slightly smaller on an Onyx, like it's a 10 speed. And the rim does feel just so nice in the hand. Also the Scorch, I have lots of those here too. I have a couple Scorches. I find these fly so nice in a headwind because they still have that integrity and they do come back, but especially when you have a little bit higher weight ones, they do come back and ride to the left. But yeah, they are so pretty and they are so nice. Very fun to throw. I find for me in like a medium degree headwind, they are like perfect for that. And next up we have a couple Hades. This one I just find the plastic to look so nice. It's a lighter weight Hades and it actually flies very similar to this one, which I don't have any backups of, which is why I got this one. It's 155 to 159 gram, which sounds kind of ridiculous, but I wanted something light that would fly similar to this one. This one I actually ended up getting from Travis Bouchard in Edmonton, so shout out. This disc has been my go-to understable distance driver, I would say, for the past 3 years. It's a proto Hades, and I know before I said I wouldn't throw like protos because I'm like, you know, it's prototype. Like they're not gonna make this again exactly like this, so. But it's just too good not to, so yeah, shout out Hades. Shout out Travis Bouchard. We're almost finished. I've got another Scorch. This one is fused. It's the one with the flames on the outside, which looks so insane. Like, how does Discraft do that? That is crazy. That disc is beautiful. I have actually yet to throw this one. It is so domey and it has the most beautiful pop top heartbeat. Oh, you can't hear it there. Let's hear it if I can make it go into the mic. Oh, I just got it. I don't know. You can't really hear it in the mic probably, but trust me, it's beautiful and I love it. I have a Z-Lite Scorch, which I love that Discraft has been doing this Z-Lite stuff. I think it's so cool. This one's 158 gram. Ooh, there's a heartbeat. I find that these Z-Lite discs can absolutely bomb in the right conditions and they are incredibly fun to throw. You can get quite a bit of distance with these babies, so never shy away from lightweight discs. They are fun to throw. Next up, I have some nukes. I don't really throw these, to be honest. Cam does, and he's very, very good at throwing them. I just find the rim slightly too big for me. They are really nice discs. 13 speed though is like so fast. Most of the time I'm like, why would I need that? But I really like the way that this one looks. This is the other one that I got from Throwjoe's. He gave this to me, I think at D-Glow I bought that from him. So yeah, so that was a good one. It's just so pretty that I'm like, I can't not really, you know? And then this one I got gifted to me from Discraft and it is very beautiful. These ones are special discs. This is a first run Hades. and I just think that the stamp and everything about it looks beautiful. It's 170 to 172 gram. I got this one in hopes that it could be a replacement for the other Hades that I have here. Where did it go? Oh, this guy. Yeah, I got this one in hopes that it could be a replacement for my prototype Hades. I thought maybe they'd be similar, but who knows. But the 168 gram, like 170 gram Hades has been my go-to for quite some time. But this one I got from Josh Kist in Calgary, so bought that off of him at one of our events that we ran. My next one is actually a gift from the kindest guy in disc golf, in Calgary disc golf. Well, actually in disc golf in general. I would say he's probably the nicest guy in disc golf ever. So if you don't know him yet, you are missing out. This is from my friend Alex Penny. One day I was just playing disc golf on the course and he came up to me and was like, hey, you like Discraft, right? And I was like, yeah, I love Discraft. And then he said to me, he said, I have something for you. And he handed me this. It's an Onyx and signed by Paul Macbeth and Hannah Macbeth. Alex, you're just too kind. You did not need to give this to me. And then I tried to pay him for it. He never accepts money. He's always like, no, take it, take it. So he's one of those guys who's just like incredibly generous and incredibly nice. Can't say enough good things about this guy. He gifted this to me on the course one day and just said, here, have it. I want you to have this. Knew I had to make a little video to shout him out. But yeah, there's that one there. This third disc is actually a fancy little disc that Cam and I ended up kind of creating with Jomez Pro. They sent me a bunch of discs once, and I used to throw this Undertaker quite a lot. And then we went to the Pro Tour Championship when Nathan McQueen ended up winning the Wild, like the way that they had that all set up that year was crazy how the format was. And Nathan McQueen ended up coming from the very bottom basically, and he ended up winning the whole thing. So that was pretty cool. And we have a whole video on basically how we got this disc signed and our experience at the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship. And yeah, I did fun challenges kind of with everybody on this disc. So yeah, it was pretty cool. So I'll link that above if you want to take a little deep dive into young Joe and Cam and our first kind of like YouTube journey and collaborating with Jomez Pro. So yeah, and that was the end of all of my discs. Like I said before, a lot of these were gifted to me and a lot of them I was so fortunate to receive. So thank you, Paige. Thank you to also Discraft and anyone else. Like I said, shouted them out before, but like anyone else who had helped me collect all these discs on the way. I will say like 50% of them probably are bought as well. So I have spent some money on them, but yeah, but thank you guys so much for watching. I would love to know what is the mold that you have that you are kind of like embarrassed that you have so many of. I would love to know. Shout that out in the comments down below. And if there's any Discraft mold that you're like, wow, you have an elite Discraft like lineup of all of said mold, like my Passions, BUZZZ, or even my Zones, let me know which one you think is the most impressive, or maybe the most, I don't know, maybe it's not impressive, maybe it's like horrifying that I have so many of them. Let me know, and I will see you guys in the next one, and thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to check out those links down below. It's how you can support me and support the channel. So thanks so much, and take care. Have a good one. Bye.